All right, thank you. Good evening, everybody. We'd like to get started with the ECCL Governance Committee. It's a regular meeting that occurs in public, so we'll get started. We'll kick it off with the roll call, please.
I'll go through the list. Ali Medina.
Here.
Member John Bowders is out today. Member Scott Donahue. Member Diane Martinez.
Here.
Member Christian Patz.
Here.
Member Cruz Vargas.
Here.
Member Susan Donaldson.
Here.
Member Lauren Salazar.
Here.
Member Sarah Nguyen.
Yes.
Member Brenda Collins.
Present.
Thank you. We'll move on to item 3, public comment for any items that are not on the agenda. Great. Seeing none, we'll move to item number 4, approval of the May 2 regular meeting action minutes.
So moved.
Do you have a
So
second?
I think it might be a correction. Should I talk about it now for the minutes? So if you look at number 3, selection of the chair, it says that it was motioned by Martinez and second by Patz. I'm not sure if that's correct, is it?
Yeah.
You did second?
Yep.
But then at the same time, it says news and it says Patz.
Yes, also correct. You can second an item and move it to a vote, so you can, sorry.
Okay. I just want to make sure that we're clear on that.
Yeah, nobody was seconding it, and I wanted to move it to a vote, so I seconded it to move the proceedings along. That does not entitle me to have to vote yay on an item. It's simply meaning it's a procedural move, and I voted no.
Okay, thank you.
Great. Any additional edits to the minutes? We had a motion on the floor. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Roll call, please.
Member Medina.
Aye.
Member Bowders. Oh, not out. Sorry. No, Donahue. Member Martinez.
Aye.
Member Patz.
Aye.
Member Vargas.
Aye.
Member Donaldson.
Aye.
Member Salazar.
Aye.
Member Nguyen.
Yes.
Member Collins.
Yes.
Great, thank you. We'll move on to item 5, item 5.1, introduction of new operation and maintenance director.
Good evening. We're excited to have our new director of O&M come join us this evening, Jody Clark. He has had past experience working with the city and has jumped right in at the district office with the work, and so we're so excited to have him here. So he's here to share a few words. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Scott, and thank you, board and city council. As she mentioned, yeah, I have a history for about 5 years where I worked with the city of Emeryville, working on their facilities maintenance, and got me kind of in line prepared for this position here as director of maintenance. And I've been here for about going on 3 weeks now, and you know, I'm still getting the process of getting familiar with you know, all the staff, a lot of scheduling stuff that goes on here, especially, and also the building systems, you know, getting my head around all that kind of stuff. Also the budget too as well. That's something I've been working with Dora and Pedro on as well. So been hit the ground running pretty much. We've had some issues come up this past week, specifically with our fire alarm here, and we had an elevator that was down. So been working with the vendors to get that stuff all back up and running. This morning we had our first facilities committee meeting, so I got to meet with Susan and Lauren, and Lauren there, and we been just discussing how we're going to get this project, the bond funding projects off the ground, and looking forward to doing that. And so my role in that right at this point is to try and, you know, go out and gather cost proposals and stuff like that that we could look at. Main one is the solar project that we're looking at, so I'm in the process with talking with some different firms on what our options are for there. Yeah, I'm just excited to be here. Excited for this new challenge and this career opportunity, and I feel I'll be a good asset here for the district. So thanks for having me.
welcome, Mr. Clark. I think your local experience will be key for us in moving
Thank you.
forward for us.
Thank you, appreciate that.
Does anybody have any clarifying questions for Mr. Clark? Seeing none, any public comment? Any discussion? No?
Thank you,
Thank
appreciate
you
it.
very much. Welcome.
All right, thank you, guys.
We'll move on to item 5.2, after-school program presentation.
I'd like to introduce Kristen Gray, our recreation supervisor, and our recreation manager, Brad Helfenberger. They oversee the after-school program and have a presentation for you.
All right. Hi, everybody. How are we tonight? We're good? So I work with kids. I have a big personality. Thank you for having me here. I can talk all day about what I get to do for not only the city of Emeryville, but for EUSD. So I'm going to take you through a couple of our programs that we hold right here on campus. The first is our youth sports program. So we offer soccer, basketball. We're going to pilot flag football this year, t-ball and baseball. We also have intercession camps. So anytime EUSD is out of program for an extended amount of time, we get to do camp here and take over the campus in a very respectful and cleanly way. We also have a Tiny Tot program, so we serve 3.5 to 4.5-year-olds. The best part about that is when they go into TK and we get to see them here at Anna Yates. It's really cute, and they're like, oh, so they're really familiar with the building and staff, so that's really fun for us. We also have a Leaders in Training program, so we're going to pilot this year doing a second semester Leaders in Training program with Emory High School 9th and 10th graders, so we're really looking forward to that. We have that in the summer, and I thought, why not have it in the school year? The other thing that we get to do is have a before school care program. So we serve Anna Yates students here in the morning. We have about 25 kids that take advantage of that program. So it's grown a lot, and a lot of our parents really appreciate having the option. All right. So I'm going to talk a little bit more in depth in our after school care program. We currently have about 118 TK through 5th grade students. We have a huge middle school program, which we're very excited about. 21 middle schoolers are enrolled. We have a lot of different options for payments. So we have 53 families on our sliding scale program in our program, and 35 subsidy families. So those are Bananas, Davis Street, Four Cs, Hively, all get to participate in program almost for free. The majority of those families get to come for free, with only about 2 families paying a very small monthly fee to program. So the design of our program is pretty standard across the field. We have snack time, which we work with the Emeryville food services to provide for our kiddos. We have an opening circle and a community building where the kids get to know each other a little bit more and just have really a lot of fun showing their personalities. We have a homework and academic activities section of our program. Of course, they get to go outside and have physical play. And we have an enrichment, so that looks like STEM, garden, cooking, sports, media, arts, and things like that. And then every day we close and we have appreciation circles. So we have a lot of points of intersection for the city and Emory Unified. The first, like this picture, actually we kicked off the year with a welcome back barbecue, so that's why you see some of our staff here, and also with teachers and administration. We also have 2 academic liaisons this year. So we have a middle school academic liaison who's going to provide math tutoring for our middle school kids. In after school, we're going to be paying that out of the ACES funding that we have. And we also have an elementary school academic liaison that's going to be doing some tutoring. She's also going to be doing some deep dive in some data for us so that we can handpick some students to do even more work around, so we can support them in that way in the after-school hours. We are also a part of the student success team, so any students that's going through SPED services, they have a student success team meeting with their parents, and we're always invited to that, giving our input on what we think the student needs and what we see in after school. We have regular meetings, so we meet every other week with the principals at at the high school and the middle school and the elementary school. And then we always just have regular access to the principals about anything that we're seeing from students or teachers. We also have special events. So we had one for the Fall Fest last week, where the kids and a couple of teachers came by and had some pie and candy, not a lot, super healthy. And we also provide small group tutoring in the after-school program. So every year we do program surveys. This is the first year we actually did a fall program survey of our students. Our students enjoy the after-school program. They really want some more outside time. We have some quotes here. The after-school program is fun. Everybody in it is smart and talented and nice and sweet. The rec leaders do a good job of helping me and my peers. And we've done that. Last year we did parents and school staff. We'll do that again in the spring. The majority of our parents really appreciate the program. They love the fact that it's on school campus, that it's here, that that their kids feel safe. And surprisingly, they also want more outside time. We did a school staff. We were so proud and so happy that we got 30 responses from our surveys for the parents, for the teachers. Almost every teacher and staff responded, so that's really great. The majority of our teachers are satisfied with our programs, but they do want to see more correlation between behavior management and homework support, which is something we're constantly working on just in general in our program. Speaking of improving quality, this little graph right here to the right is our program quality improvement model that we adopted this year. So it shows like our where we want by the end of our program quality improvement process, we want to be at the top of this pyramid in engagement. So we want to see kids really excited about making decisions in program, getting their voice heard in program, letting us and implement their ideas. And our model really is around assessment. So we want to assess whether that's self-assessment or having a third-party person come in and look at our program and give us feedback, but also making plans and engaging our staff leaders to set goals for themselves and then hopefully improve and then start that process all over again. We have some areas of focus around creating a shared language and understanding of what makes a high-quality program that involves the principals of the school, that involves our supervisors, that involves staff. So it has a lot of points of stakeholders to really understand what high-quality programs look like. If you have a really high-quality program, it could equate to 90 additional days of school for kids. And so we want to make sure that we're doing our part in making sure that that happens. We have a continued goal of making sure that we encourage diversity, access, and equity. So that really lets us work with our SPED teachers and the SPED department, and whether it's getting resources or having them come in and provide training for all of our SPED students. Academic support, that's where our academic liaisons come into play. Intentional enrichment activities, so we're partnering with the middle school this year in having some partners come on campus and actually provide direct service. So we have media arts happening, we have breakdancing happening, and we're gonna start an art program as well for our middle schoolers. We also have a partnership with HTA. They really help us stay on track with tracking all of our data points so that we can create opportunities for growth. And this is just a general list of our partners. Of course, EOC is a huge part of that. We had Kala Arts, and we're going to have Kala Arts this year. Something new to the campus is the People's Conservatory. They're the ones that are providing the breakdancing and the media arts program for the middle schoolers. Scientific Adventures for Girls continues to be a hit with our kids. They love it. Of course, it's a co-ed program, but I mean, I just get the biggest compliments from them, and they're great. They're a great partner to have. So a couple of upcoming programming. We will have our fall break camp, hopefully happening during the week of Thanksgiving. We will have basketball that's going to start in January. We're going to have an all sports camp happen during the week of spring break and President's Week break. And like I said earlier, we're going to have our LIT program happen in second semester. All right, that's it.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem.
Do we have any clarifying questions from committee members?
First of all, thank you so much for absolutely everything that you do for our students and families. It made me want to come to before and after school. That
Okay.
looked amazing. Super engaging, very aligned, and just so striking the ways that everything that's happening is a complete match with all the mission and vision of the district, everything that I know is happening on the city side with programming. So thank you, to your staff, for all of the intentionality and structure that goes into that. As an educator, I've seen many before and after school programs that look different than that. So thank you, because we know our students benefit from all of these things. The only question that I had, which might not be relevant for you to speak to now in this presentation, but maybe you can just refer me to where I could look to learn more, has to do with funding. I know that whenever we're servicing students, funding can come from a lot of different sources, and I would just be interested to learn more about that at some point.
Okay.
Thank
Well-
you.
Well, thank you. So it is my pleasure to do it. I can literally talk forever, and I wouldn't be able to do it without Brad and Pedro. I mean, they support every crazy dream that I have, so it's my pleasure. Funding. Yeah, sure. I do the fun stuff. They get to do that.
Yeah, the funding stuff is not as fun, but so the school district receives a grant from After Schools Education and Safety Program, ACES, and the school district funnels that money to the city to help support the after-school program. And the grant is in the neighborhood of somewhere in $90,000 range, and there's some administrative costs that the district has that comes off the top of that, and also the academic liaison program, since those are teachers that are on school district payroll, that's funded, and so that comes off the top. The city gets the remainder of that, but the city also supports the program significantly with its own general fund. So it really is a partnership between the city and the school district. The school district commits resources to the program, and the city also commits resources.
And all of the programming is happening here at this site, is that correct, for everything from TK through middle school?
Yeah, that's correct, yes.
So cool to get the middle school. That's where we lose them a lot of times. Lose them to all manner of things.
But we're really excited about the middle school program. It's more than 3 times the size as it was last year, so we're definitely making progress in that area.
Thank you so much.
Thank you again, Brett. Any additional questions?
Hi, thank you for your presentation. I had a question, if you could speak a little bit more to your goals, and I couldn't quite see sort of the pyramid and all of that, but just more about where that came from, what inspired that, and what kind of, you talked a little bit about data and some information that you used for that, and given the goals that you set up, what are you hoping to have by the end of next year, or by the end of the school year?
So there's a couple of different points around program quality. So, you know, no matter where you are on your goals, you're always going to be striving for that top notch. So there's a couple of things that are happening. We're doing a lot of work with our staff and our group leaders to really create a culture of appreciating even critical feedback, but feedback. So they're also reading the survey results. They're also getting to see what teachers and students are thinking. We changed our entire professional development structure for our group leaders. So that's kind of like that level 1 really support. The other part is really kind of dreaming and imagining what a high quality program really looks like. And so as adults, if you've ever participated in after school programs or sports or anything like that when you were younger, it was probably a really important part of your life. That was like things you looked forward to. And we are really in charge of creating those moments for kids. And so recreation can imply that it's just free play, but if you really take it seriously and you're intentional with every single minute that you have in front of those kids, you can change the entire trajectory of their lives. So that level of pressure, no, it's not pressure, but that level of opportunity is something that we want to make sure that the principals really get, which they do. that the staff really get, that our families really get. So something that happened this year is like we wanted to extend the day until 5:45 and really encourage families to keep their kids in. It's an ACEs requirement, but it's also just good practice that if we're providing these moments, the kids have to be here in order to get them. And so the families are really embracing all of those, that kind of mindset too. And if we can show change, we're gonna be able to show our improvement in our process. So what you should really see is our kids should be out testing non-after-school kids. So when we talk about the academic liaison, those data points are something that I really want to look at. So if our kids who theoretically get an extra hour of homework support every day for 5 days a week aren't excelling a little bit more than kids that aren't in our program, then that's something we gotta look at. So are we really making an impact in the students' academics? And also, do they feel safe? Are they improving their social emotional skills? Are they getting less referrals in the school day to the office? Are teachers saying that their behavior is improving because of the strategies that we're doing in after school? All of those are program goals that we have, that we're striving to not only train our staff to do, but also really embrace. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Right, any additional questions? Does any member of the public have any comments on this particular item? Seeing none, any additional discussion from the members of the committee? Great, thank you very much again for your time. We'll move on to item 5.3, update on third-party rentals.
Yes, so I ran some reports earlier this week, and up to date, we're about 95,000 in third-party rentals. So estimating through the year, we should be a little bit over 300,000 again, if all our rentals continue that we have. And they, as far as we know, they are still going to continue. We even feel even a little bit better is there's been some change in payments that we normally would get one-time payments up front earlier are being spread out over time. So we're hoping that that jumps up our number later on since we're getting payments over the 12-month period. I'm happy to answer any questions you have.
Is there a specific page in here we're supposed to be referring to?
No,
for
I
this?
didn't. I'm sorry, I don't have a document for that. We can run a report that I can send out later if you guys would like on that.
Is there appetite from members of the committee to receive that report? If there's appetite to get the report.
Mr. Jimenez, in the budget report on the top line, I think there's audited actuals for the past couple of years and a budget projection. Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't see that far, but I think that's it, yeah. And you might, if you don't, just want to reinforce, I think this is also a year-end report from last year, since this is the first meeting we've had since year-end. I could just point them to that one if that's on there.
Yes.
Does the O&M budget satisfy the committee members' requests for that material, or would we still like the report? Sarah, does this work for you?
I'd be curious to know what additional information, aside from, because this is showing simply revenue, right? Is there other information available?
As far as the projection there of the 300,000?
As far as the third-party rental, like are there costs associated? I know there have been concerns in the past with the impact that the third-party rentals at times can have on primary users of the space, like teachers having concerns about their classrooms and potential costs that are incurred. I'm wondering if there's any other financial piece to be aware of other than the revenue piece. Like, are there expenditures associated with the third-party rentals? Is there anything that another report that you might offer would depict aside from just what we see here?
No, I think everything, whether it's third-party rentals, city or district, the operation and maintenance covers that, and then what offsets that is the revenue that's created by third-party rentals then for both the city and district. So there's no separate report that has any expenditures separate from that.
Thank you.
No problem.
Any additional questions from committee members?
So I have a quick question. So previously you mentioned that third-party rentals, long-term, you were gonna do some changes. Has that taken effect?
Yes, I think the master fee schedule went into effect in July, August on fees, so we've changed those over, and we're still trending about the same with those changes, a little bit above that. So we do expect, hopefully, we had projected 300. I would feel comfortable saying 310, but, you know, being conservative.
Okay, thank you.
Great, seeing no additional questions. Any public comments, sorry, on this item? Seeing none, any discussion from committee members? Great, thank you very much, Brother. Oh, apologies. So, great. No action items today, so we'll move on to item 7, review of the O&M budget.
Does
Good,
he-
oh,
Please, go ahead. Go ahead.
okay. Good evening, board members and city council. This evening, we're going to look at the O&M first interim budget. As usual, both sides, the city and the school, are able to meet together to adjust and update the operating budget for the O&M budget. So as you can see, the fiscal data is being shown on the Excel worksheet that uploaded by Petro. So I'm not going to go in detail on this worksheet because it's pretty easy to understand this worksheet. So any questions on this O&M first interim budget?
None for me. Any questions from committee members? Great, thank you very much. Maybe a clarifying question for me. Are we seeking approval for this interim report?
This
or
is just an information item.
Thank you very much. Great. So with no clarifying questions from committee members, any comment from any members from the public? Seeing none, any discussion from committee members? Great, seeing none, thank you very much, Dora. We'll move, and then very quickly, for future agenda items, we have a preliminary solar update. So now we'll move on to item 9 for announcements and member comments. Any committee member have any announcements or member comments? Then meeting's adjourned. Thank you very much.